I'll just start with who you are.
Yeah, okay.
Let me introduce you. I think it's more important.
Sure.
I know you don't like talking about yourself.
Yeah, I don't even know how to...
Or talk about yourself in third person. Okay, so, I mean, for people that don't know, we worked together for 5 years.
2014 to 19.
Yeah. 5 years, right?
Yeah.
We worked together, you turning pro, you know, as a athlete, you know.
Started with the Arnolds.
Yeah, we started with the Arnold Men's Physique.
Arnold Amateur Men's Physique. I got my ass handed to me at that show. They told me and told us I was too lean.
I remember, yeah.
Which is ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were very lean.
I was pretty lean.
Yeah. And then you switched to Classic Physique when it came out.
2016, yeah.
Yeah.
You convinced me. I think you're probably the one who told me to switch. I was getting that like look, like round, and it just, and they said like you're not men's physique. It was, they wanted the beach body. And
I think sometimes what happens when they come out with a category, they make a clear line, a distinction of like what you shouldn't look like, or what they're going to reward or what they're not going to reward, right? And that happened to you because you did good in men's physique.
I did pretty good, yeah.
Your first show.
I won my first show overall, with no posing, no coach, no nothing. I had a friend at the gym who helped me out at the time, and I wasn't dieting. Like I would cheat on whatever. I would just do cardio, and I took like the smallest little cycle. Like considering everything that we know now, I was taking like nothing. And then I did the provincial show when I was 20. So I was 19 when I did my first show, and then I turned 20. I did the provincial show. I took second in Ontario, which at the time was like,
it was a big deal.
Dude, there was like 31 guys in the B class.
And so you had to qualify at regional, provincial,
top 5,
national. That's how it worked, yeah.
It was a lot different at the time. So we do top 5 at regional, top 5 at provincial, and then top 5 would requalify you. At nationals, I got 4th at nationals, which was like 4 or 5 weeks after provincials. I binged pretty hard too, because this is like my first time doing anything. There was no rebound at the time. There was no like
reverse diet.
It was barely Instagram. Like it was all fairly new. So I'm thinking like load up on cookies and cake. Like, and I did post show candy. Like I was just so excited, and I'm like, oh, I got to diet again.
So you did that, and then you ended up switching to Classic Physique. We did well when you did it, right?
Stratford, we won the overall in Stratford in my first. We were actually supposed to do the FUADs, I think. And I think we were 8 weeks out of FUADs, 4 weeks out of Stratford. You saw me at some show in Markham or something.
In March.
And we jumped into Stratford 4 weeks out.
So you won. You did provincials.
I got third.
And then
took the year off. I was so mad. Not like at anything or anyone. I was just like, I shouldn't be placing third. I feel like I should have been placing better. And
that's what, like, one thing I want really talk about today is just you as an athlete, in terms of like how good you are of an athlete, you know, and I want people to understand that. And I think that, you know, I do reference your work ethic and your qualities as an athlete, and I want people to understand just in general, and whether you're an athlete or not, doesn't matter. I think that there are inherent qualities that make somebody good at something, you know, and I want people to understand that about you. You know, so we came back the following year. You won the Toronto Pro Show, I think, right?
The Toronto Pro Qualifier 2018.
And you didn't win the overall.
Didn't win the overall.
And then
we did nationals. I took second to the guy who won the overall.
And then a year later, you turned pro.
A year later. So we took that year off.
And since then, you've won several 3 pro shows. You've went to the Olympia twice. You've, in my opinion, and I'll say this, I think, and I told you this before, I don't know if you remember me telling you this, I think you should just coach men. And I would tell you that before, and I don't know why you didn't take my advice, but I truly believe that you have one of the best eyes for coaching men. You know, I think that you're not just good as an athlete, you know, you're not just great as an athlete, you're great as a coach as well, and you know you have an eye for the sport. And even beyond having an eye for the sport, you have a care for people, you know, and this is what always made you really good with people, is that you really care about people. And this is a very rare quality. I think that a lot of people are willing to sacrifice the person they're working with for an outcome. And I know with you, that's not the case. That's what, you know, I think we can even address an elephant in the room, which is like, because a lot of people know we didn't talk for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that regardless of those reasons, ego, and I made a lot of mistakes too, you know, and I said things I shouldn't have, and, you know.
So did I, man. Like, dude, I was like, I mean, I didn't realize this even at the time, but you were like 28 years old when we first started together. I was 21. Like, I don't think people can put that into perspective. Like, you were running this full scale business at 28, and like, you're the type of person who maybe not so much now, but at the time, liked to take on more. You bit off more than you could chew, and I was the same way. So we're both two dumb kids biting off more than we can chew, and then accumulating that stress, and then projecting that stress because we're always stressed all the time. And then we also have 30, 50, 100, 200 people that are also stressed that we're trying to manage.
Yeah, we grew in this industry, right?
Yeah,
I don't know any other industry.
No, I grew up. I was a kid. I was 19 years old.
Same as me, and even before meeting you, I was doing this in this industry, right? And I think then egos get the best of you, and I will say, like, I only know this because you said this to me recently, but you know, one of your best looks ever was in 2018.
Yeah,
and I think that, and I was thinking about like what happened, like beyond that, like even together, and I think like egos and pressure and all these sorts of things external, you know, and I think that even got in the way of our relationship.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like, you know, and then someone, like, there are so many people, I'll tell you, there are so many people, I'm not going to spend too much time on this too, right? But there's so many people that tried to bring us together.
Yeah.
Also, you know, over the last 5 years, and they say like, why don't you guys talk? And I'm like, you know, it's fuck off.
I just didn't feel like it was their place too, right? Yeah. Like, I think that's what bothers me the most is like, you don't know anything. Like, you only know what you hear, and you only know from the outside looking in. You don't really know the intricacies of what happened, how it happened, and who we are, who we were.
Yeah.
Like, and so like
I think we were like this for a long time too. Like, we were not aligned.
Yeah.
It was a big misalignment. We would see each other and just not even say a word.
Yeah, but I also think it was almost like a grieving period, like a mourning period sort of thing, where it's like, I just need space to not deal with this and to do my own thing, and for you to do your own thing, and also to figure out who you are without Tyler, and for me to figure out who I am without Amer, because at least for me, like, that was a big chunk of my career. And for you too, I think, like, because between 2014 and 2019 was probably, now I don't know now, but like, that was probably one of the bigger rises of your business. Because that's when you started accumulating more coaches. It's when you started to really make your mark in the industry. And same with me, like, that's how people know who I am. And like, that's how we kind of gained.
I think that more than anything, we made a name together.
Yeah.
Right. And so people always, you know, looked at that dynamic of you and I.
There's no one without the other.
Yeah, like at that time, right? So, and I'll be honest, and I'll tell you, like, even, you know, when we were no longer together, I thought, as, you know, coach, athlete, and, you know, you worked with me for a bit too, you know, within my business. And you know, first I'll say this, like, a lot of the bad feelings I think I felt, I'll speak for myself, and maybe you can touch on this, how you felt, is like, comes from a place of insecurity, right?
Yeah,
like, it's like, you know, how am I viewed?
Yeah.
Am I good enough to do this? You know, like, you know, all that you go through all these different things, and it comes out in bad ways, right? And most of the time we react from a place of hurt, but it comes out as anger and all these other sorts of, you know, and you know, shit talking, or, you know, and so a lot of like self-preservation of your ego too, for me. So you know, I think, and then people also were fueling the fire too. You know, people would say like, he said this, and I was thinking like, fuck this guy, you know. Dude, and then you hear the same, and
I had people messaging me saying whatever, and I would literally have to get to a point where I'm like, yo, like, I don't want to talk about this guy because it's just negative. You're bringing in negative to me, talking shit about someone that I don't really want to talk about, and because unless we're going to talk about like things that are productive, I don't want to engage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's the same both ways, right? And I think that there was a maturing process for both of us that we had to go through before we can sit down and have a conversation together in general, you know, because we didn't talk too much even up till today, you know. It's been just,
I mean, we didn't talk until Legends Cup.
Yeah.
This past Legends Cup,
so 5 years.
2025.
5 years.
And it was 2 minutes maybe, just about the show, and then we talked at King Kong. About 20 minutes. That was probably the first time we talked. Like, first time we really talked. It's funny because it doesn't feel like that. Like, it doesn't, it just feels like the last 5 years were a blur. But at the same time, like, again, like I had to kind of figure out who I am without you. So like, I need to go do my own thing. I was only, when we stopped working together, I would have been 25, dude, or 26 or something like that. Like I was still a kid when I turned pro. I was 25 when I turned pro. I think we probably had a little bit of a falling out like a year after that, a year after I turned pro.
2020-ish.
I'm 26, man. And then COVID hit. And now we're trying to navigate that, like navigate that on a personal level like everyone else, but navigate that on a business level. Like, I don't know about you, but I lost like 70% of my clients within the first 2 months of COVID. And now I'm like, okay, I'm 26. I thought I was this big hotshot coach and business, and I got all these, and then I just start losing everything. And for me, I'm like, dude, I'm losing everything. And so now I'm trying to navigate that, like as a new business owner, just COVID in general, but like, it was just like navigating, like, who am I? And like, what am I supposed to do with all this? Cause I was a Amer fitness coach for so long. Right.
And that's what I mean. A lot of it's fear too, you know, and from both sides, from what you're saying too, right? Like for me, it's fear of like I'll tell you, you worked with another coach after our win. Yeah. And then you won the pro show and I'm bitter about it. Right. Because, and you know, like I'm thinking like, oh, well, like we could have done that together, you know? And so like, I'm just telling you honestly how I felt, you know, and I don't feel anything about that anymore. And you know, I'm happy for you when you have success, you know, but you got to look back and recognize it's not about you or anything you did. It's I have to recognize like my place in everything. And I can't just point the finger and say, this guy did this and this, like, it doesn't even matter. You know, when you really want to apologize to somebody, what I've learned is like you apologize even if the person, and have no expectation. Yeah. Like if I'm expecting a response from you, it's not a genuine apology. You know, it's like you're doing it for some gain, you know? And so even face to face, man, I do want to apologize for everything. Yeah, of course. I really do love you. You know that, like, you know.
Yeah, it's funny. I said to my mom, I was like, hey, like I'm doing a podcast with Amer, and she's like, well, you know, like he did cry when you turned pro. Like meaning like it was real. Yeah. Like it was a real relationship. It wasn't like you know, like you coach people and you do connect with them, obviously, I'm sure, but you also just have clients. Yeah. Like there's people who are they're just clients at the end of the day. And so that was kind of something that my mom had brought up, because she's like, it was a real relationship, you know?
Well, look, you know,
like I came to eat food with your family. Yeah. Like several times. Yeah. I got to know your family like several times. It wasn't just like coming to the gym and training.
You know, history, this thing about what I've learned in life is like you can't erase history. Yeah. You know, and no matter what happens, like that's what makes something real. It's history, you know? And so like I've turned people pro and you've turned people pro, and you know, I can speak for myself on this. Sometimes I've turned people pro, and honestly, it didn't mean too much to me, because the history of getting them there wasn't there. Yeah. You didn't have to fight for it. You didn't go through like all these life experiences with the person.
A lot of highs and lows, man. And like category change.
And even life highs and lows. Yeah. You know, there's so many things that we went through, you know.
Relationships.
Of course. And so even aside from even the struggles of the sport, the struggles of life, and I see that, and I saw you up. Like when I met you, you were working at Swish LA.
Yeah, I was. I think I was a dishwasher. Yeah, I went from dishwasher to delivery driver.
I remember you told.
I started coaching, and I remember you asked me. This is 2015, I think, very early on, and you or late 2014, and you said, "Would you consider being a Amer fitness coach?" And I said to you, "Yes, but I don't know if I'm good at it, and I don't know if I want to do it. So let me coach on my own for like a year." Figure out if this is, because I don't want to put my name on Amer Fitness and then be a shitty coach, right? Or just like the type of person I was at the time, especially, it was like a starter and quitter. You start something and quit. You get all gung-ho, oh, this is really exciting and I'm really hyped up about it, and then the hype dies. And I didn't want to put that on you, because I've had that happen to me.
Know. You don't want to disappoint someone too.
Yeah. Right? So I wanted to just, you know, figure out, is this something I'm good at too? Like, dude, if I suck at coaching, why do you want to hire me, other than just me being a good athlete? Right.
Yeah. So we did go through a lot, you know, even just in terms of life on both sides. Right. So it was very rewarding when you finally turned pro, you know, and you know, it's and especially when you care about the person. Yeah. And you, as much as you did it for yourself and I did it for you, like, you know, we also, like, you do it for yourself, but we also do it for each other in a way too. You know, it's like this is for you.
It
you
meant
know?
more doing it together than it did just turning pro. Sure. Like, you know, I won my first pro show in 2022, And I was at the Olympia technically with my coach. My coach did not give two shits about anything I was doing at the Olympia. He had bigger fish to fry, which I understand, but it was kind of that reality check of like, fuck, dude, this guy does not care at all. He doesn't care if I even show up to stage. Like, no part of him.
And I think, that's what matures you in life too, is when you go through enough things and you have that understanding, you say to yourself like, oh, maybe you start to value things differently. Right? Like, one time, like, people were bashing you online, know, and I never went and did that, no matter how much I hated you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you can only really hate someone when you do care about the person. I don't think you can hate someone if you didn't actually care, right? Yeah. So I say hate, but, it's not really what I felt when I look back, right?
Well, it's like resentment of the whole situation, because you're like, I wish we were still good.
Yeah. I remember you said, without realizing, you don't know you feel that way, right? But I remember you said to me, like, I remember thinking about you when people were doing that to me.
Yeah.
Because people were doing that to me at a time, And
one thing I'll say about you too is you never engage back. And so when I'm getting my name dragged through the mud, I'm like, I literally thought about you, and I'm like, he wouldn't engage, so don't engage. Yeah. Because if I don't engage, you're just talking at yourself now.
Yeah.
You look stupid by talking shit about someone online when they're not engaging back. Yeah. Like, it's really weird to do.
And you go through these things, and then you realize, like, oh shit, I did this to a person, or how I viewed it. One thing I've learned with time in life and maturing is you can't judge anyone for anything. You don't know. When you see a homeless guy doing drugs, you don't know. You don't know anything, why someone is where they are, And that takes a lot of pain on your part, experiencing it, I think, to realize that, right? Like, when you go through enough pain, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then respect, because you realize, shit, it's not as easy as I thought it was to do something too, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what, aside from everything, every person that's come in the way, every person that's said shit, and every person that's tried to bring us together, nothing mattered other than like a mutual respect at the end of the day that, for me, brought me back to having a relationship and friendship with you.
Dude, I'll be honest. So I remember I reached out at some point 5 years ago, and I don't remember even what I said to you, but I remember telling myself, if this guy like apologizes, all good. Like, that's how my head works. Like, if a grown man can be like, I was wrong, that to me is more than enough. Like, because I've done that a million times. I've had to reach out to people and say, with no expectation too, like, of just like, hey, I was wrong. That's just what it is. Like, you just say your piece. I apologize for this, that, and whatever. It's also like a conscience clearer. Like, you clear your conscience a little bit. Not saying you need to like, I did nothing wrong now, like all is good. But
it's about ownership, right?
It's about owning and accountability. And I think accountability is like the number one like way to tell if someone's matured or not, or if they changed. Because how many people have you talked to where you're like, you talk to them about what they did wrong and they still don't take accountability, or they're still pointing the finger and say, you did this, and you did that.
A client or an athlete. Yeah. It's like, just be accountable. Like, actually, we get through a lot of things quick. Like, we can forgive almost anything in life.
Yeah.
I realize that we can forgive people for anything. Like, if the person just owns it, right? Because
no one's perfect too, right? And like I said, like, we were growing up through this industry, and this is a hard industry to grow up in because it's, very vain, very like, a lot of people are very insecure and just very
highs and lows.
Yeah, there's a lot of highs and lows, and it's not just like competition placing. It's like mental health highs and lows. It's relationships highs and lows. It's losing jobs and losing opportunities. And
every time you lose a client, or I lose a client, you're losing a job.
Yeah,
like, imagine every week your job is on the line.
And you take
like,
it
imagine
personally.
Going to work and your job is on the line, and it's not always something you did wrong.
Yeah,
it could be someone else just didn't adhere, and then it like makes you look bad, or whatever it might be, right? And so it's a lot of like emotional highs and lows. You're right.
Yeah, and like I said, like I can't. So like, I'm 32 now, like, and I'm like, dude, you were 32 when I was turning pro, because I would have been 25. You're how old? 30. So give or take, you would have been 30. I'm like, dude, you were still a kid. So like, what am I gonna do? Hold you forever?
Anger,
to what you said or did as a kid. And like I said, like, at the time, we loved to bite off more than we could chew. So one thing I learned from that experience is like delegating work. So being better at delegating, because I used to just take on everything. I'd do the posing, I'd do the diet, I'd do the training, I wanted to be the one in control. Now I outsource. I outsource a lot of resources, because I'm like, this is the posing guy, go see him. I don't want your money.
Yeah.
because I want to delegate.
Sometimes just grabbing like low hanging fruit. You know? You're like, oh, this easy way to make money, or this is, or it's a control thing, or you don't want to send someone to someone because you don't know what they're going to say to the person.
Ego thing too.
Yeah. So many different things, right? I think when you get over yourself, for me, I learned that too, right? You get over yourself, you can be a lot more productive and free.
Yeah, because like, you know, that's kind of one. So you mentioned that I am a good coach for men. Mm-hmm. So that was one way I've transitioned my business this year specifically. And
can I touch on that quick? Yeah. So like what I was saying, I didn't finish it, and thanks for reminding me, but I was bringing up that years ago I was telling you, like, I honestly think you're one of the best coaches in the world for men. Mm-hmm. You just aren't there yet. I remember saying that, like, because you're not focused on it.
Yeah.
But you have the eye for it. Like, your eye is just very good. And I think this sport is all about the eye, right? It's not, I don't think, I know. PC. You have to have the eye, especially the higher you go and the athletes get better, you have to have that eye to recognize every level what a winner looks like.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have that. You always had that. And I think maybe I don't know if at the time you thought I was telling you that because you thought I didn't want you to coach women, or you didn't. Like, or it was like a mean knock on, it like, might have just been to you, you know?
Yeah, it might have just been purely ego for me. Like, oh, you don't think I can coach women? Yeah. And it's like, it's not that I can't. I've done it. I've done well. I've succeeded. But like,
you told me recently, like, I'm only coaching men.
Yeah, dude. Because like, I love coaching men. Like, I love the men's categories. Like, I love them. I'm so passionate about them. I'm passionate about bodybuilding. I'm passionate about classic physique. I'm passionate about men's physique. I love that. Like. And not only that, but like being at the shows with the guys. Like, I'm a man's man. Like, for me, the way I talk to men, the way I hang out with guys, like, it's just I have such a good time.
You're very relatable to your athletes.
Very relatable. That are doing it. And I feel like I'm more of a leader for men. I don't feel what I'm best at is best for women. And so what am I doing? I'm just taking their money, right? And I don't feel good about that.
Well, it's noble of you to recognize that too, right? Because I think a lot of people can't or wouldn't say that.
Wouldn't, because they're like, I want more money. And I also want the accolades that come with it.
Yeah, because sometimes, you know, you just told me off camera, like, oh, a girl came to you and you knew you could do good with her and you still told her to go to me.
Yeah.
Right. So like, sometimes you're like, but this is an easy win.
Yeah.
Why not?
You know? And I tell every girl that inquires still, I'm like, I'm not passionate about your category. I would rather you work with a coach who's passionate, because if you're a bikini girl or a wellness girl or fit model or whatever, wouldn't you want to work with the coach who's the bikini coach? Where it's the same thing with men.
Remember at the time though, when we were doing this, like at 2014, 2015, it was just, you coach everyone.
Yeah.
There was no category specific coaching.
No.
It was very different at the time.
And I was proud of like versatility.
Yeah.
That was something I was very proud of. Like I do have overalls in literally every category. National level wins in every category, including like women's bodybuilding and women's physique and figure and all those categories. But you know, it's one thing to say, okay, I did it. But so one thing I noticed about like people like you, and you know, Atlas and Chris and whoever, is you guys are special. Like, you specialize in these categories. So like when a woman wants to compete, she looks to you because you're the bikini coach. You have all these bikini pro cards. Yeah. Why wouldn't they come to you, right? So who's the male coach? There really isn't any.
But that's what I would tell you. I would say there's nobody. And I don't know why there was never anybody that was doing it. There are some guys in the States and whatnot, but I never looked at anyone as that person.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that I told you that could be you. And I do think that in the next 2 to 3 years, people will see that you're the best in the world at that.
Yeah.
You know, I really believe that. And I always believe that you can do that. And
that's what I want. Like, and I don't say that like cocky or anything. Like, I say that in like, that's my goal is to work really hard with the men and to establish myself as the male coach. Like I said, I've done it with women, 10 years worth of coaching. But what am I best at? And so like when you're I feel like when you're like offsetting energy into things that you're not passionate about, you're draining from what you are passionate about.
Yeah. And it's not just like, okay, you go and do one, you coach one woman, it's not the same amount of effort. So it's like 10 times the effort.
Yeah.
Because you're not working from this place of being like
passion,
unconsciously competent.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just like doing without, you actually have to like think.
Overthink.
Yes. You know, like you're actually having to like, you exhaust yourself so much to even like come up with the energy to think.
Because so like one thing, like if you have a bikini, if you have 20 bikini check-ins today and you have, you know, a couple classic and a couple men's physique, you're turning on and off a mode that you're in, where, or your eye, where you're like, okay, this is, you know how to coach bikini. It's almost like
automatically.
Automatically. Like it's just like an automatic response, and you're just always locked into that mode. That's me with men.
And I think even like, let's say you're coaching like one category and then you have another category, you might have to look at that picture 5 times.
Yeah.
And I know
it's a different look.
But when you're looking at the guys, you could look at them quick and know. I know people might think like you have to look at them more. No,
it's habitual.
But when it's so natural in you, you just look and you're right away flat. Yeah. Right away your shoulder. Like you can just see these things so quick. You don't have to look 5 times.
You're like, okay, you look 6 weeks out, you look 4 weeks out. I've told guys 4 weeks out, you look 8 weeks out, because I know what you're supposed to look like. And if I have 2 of you doing the same show, this guy looks like this guy looks like that. I'm like, dude, you're not there yet. Like, because I have a guy who's ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you have so much volume that you can see those.
And you're just so locked in.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Like, I mean, you have so many guys doing it that you know what the winners look like.
Yeah.
So
you know the pace.
You as a coach, or me as a coach, I'm like, when someone says to me, no, I'm like, man, like, you only know yourself.
Yeah.
I have data.
Yeah.
So I'm comparing you to every other client I have. Imagine I've worked with 5,000 clients over the course of my life.
10 years worth of
5,000
shows, right?
And you're telling me that like what you're saying is true, but like I'm telling you, I had 3 girls today that work harder than you.
Yeah. Because you're the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
Because you're the only one in the room.
Yeah, like you only have you to compare to.
And you're shredded because you were not shredded before.
Yeah.
So to you are shredded. And they mean it genuinely.
Yeah.
Like they're not.
Yeah, they don't know, right?
It's not like I would say that.
But that's what a coach is, right?
Yeah.
I have all this information and data and
that's why
experience.
You have a coach.
What do you think like a long-term like relationship with your long-term clients? What do you think those, like, what makes those successful? Like, why do you have those long-term clients that continue to get better?
For me, I think it's just a trust thing. Like, trust in the result. That's one thing. You have to be producing results. If you're not producing results, likely they're going to go find someone who is. Trust in accountability. So accountability as a coach and an athlete. So like you have to hold your athlete accountable, and they appreciate that too. When you call them out and say, hey man, you're not giving me your best work. Like, how can we figure this out? They know you care. Like, they know you care more about than just money. Because if you're just caring about money, thanks for your check-in next week.
So how do you know a coach is like that? Like they're not responsive. Like, I know you're responsive.
Yeah, responsive. I mean, you should always be responding within 24 hours if this is your full-time job. And but also just calling them out, supporting them too. Like, I think that was one thing that I lacked before years ago, was I was just more so focused on like, here's what you do. Don't ask
more
for
militant stuff.
more militant, right? And authoritative versus, like, I mean, yeah, you do have to have a little bit of that, but at the same time, like, they are paying you to support them too. So just and like being there at the shows with them and showing them, like, so they can feel that level of care.
It's funny you say that. I saw a post of it, like 2 days ago on Instagram, and it was like, as people go online and say my coach didn't support me, but it's not a coach's job to support, and I thought that's kind of wrong.
It's almost exactly what the coach's job is.
What do you think it is then? Yeah. Like you don't get to cherry pick what you want to give a person. Like part of coaching them is to provide them with that at the right time. That's the skill, is knowing when to give it to them.
Yeah, you need to know kind of when to push and when to pull, when to be on them, like their leader, and be like, hey bro, like you gotta fucking step it up a little bit. Where at the same time, when they have wins, celebrate the wins with them, because it is reassuring to them that they encouraging and so that they can see that you do care, and like that you don't care just about being a dick, like where you're just like, oh, I'm the tough guy and I'm not gonna show that I can. You have to be able to give and take both, and you have to know when to, like, being a good coach is knowing when to be supportive and when to be encouraging, and then when to be a little more demanding and demand the best out of them. And a lot of my guys, specifically with the men, is like, they know I'm demanding the best out of them. So when I push them, I'm like, hey man, I'm going to push you a little harder, because they know I see the vision of what they can be when they don't. Because they might be like, oh, like I'm flat, I'm this, I'm that. But then when you push them, and then you produce the result that you told them that you're going to do, versus like, old school coaches, you don't really give much feedback. You don't really give much of a direction. So when you give feedback and you give direction of like, this is what I'm going to do and why, at least then it just shuts their brain off versus like, here's the plan. And they're like, well, why X, Y, Z? Dark, and you're like, oh, don't ask questions.
Yeah, they don't want to be
just
in the
follow
dark.
the plan, right? You know, being a good coach is being able to guide them and direct them as well as push them a little bit harder. And then also knowing when to be like, hey man, not the time for questions. Right. And so that just, I think gains a lot of trust in the client's eye.
What do you think makes a great athlete?
Like from the athlete perspective?
Like to be a good, because
you're an
athlete and a coach too, right? So like, what do you see? I haven't been an athlete for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to think about like me being an athlete.
Yeah.
Right? Those days are done.
Yeah.
But because you still have that in your brain right now, like what do you see with your athletes that they need the biggest obstacle for a lot of people as to why they're not getting better or what makes people really good?
I think from the athlete, it's also accountability. Like you have to hold yourself accountable. You can't just expect your coach to do everything for you. So I have a lot of great athletes who are like, hey, I could have done this. Like I have a little question in my prompt, like what could you have done better this week? And I do that specifically because it's making them think like, where am I slacking?
Yeah. Even
if it's something like water intake, even if it's something like walking simple, or whatever, it's simple. But it's always keeping them in that mode of like, how can I be better? And, you know, there's like this little bit of like, well, you can't be too hard on yourself all the time, right? Because then you're never going to progress. And you're almost beating yourself into a hole all the time. But it's also just making sure like you're always in that, like, how can I find the 0.01%? And I think that's what has helped me as an athlete get better, because I'm only ever looking for the 0.01%. I'm not looking for the magic pill. I'm not saying, hey, Amer, what drug can I take to get leaner? I'm like, what can I go a little faster on my cardio? Can we maybe tweak my food a little bit so we can eat a little bit less? Or, you know, for me at this point and this stage of my career, I'm what, 10, 13 years in, little things that are not so little is mobility every day. I do 60 minutes of mobility every single morning. You know, things like sauna, breathing in the sauna, and making sure like I'm getting my diaphragm open, and making sure like, you know, even just making sure I can rotate my shoulders and move my hips. And it's like these little things that now help posing. Now you can present yourself a little bit better, right? So now I could say, well, I've been to the Olympia and I've turned pro and I've done all this. And so what I did worked. And I used to do that a lot. Remember, I used to eat like an asshole? I would eat like an asshole 80% of the year, message you at 10 weeks out and be like, prep me for this show. And I'm 50 pounds overweight. Now I don't do that. I don't even eat anything. Like I brought my food today. Like, and that's for no reason. Like I'm not prepping. I mean, I am still like prepping, you know, but like I'm not prepping for a show. So you just get to a point where you're like, how, you know, I brought 2 fish meals to the show the other day, the London show. I brought 2 fish meals, 2 cream rice meals. I didn't go out and eat. I didn't go out and do anything. I don't really like drink energy drinks. I don't really do drink diet pops or anything like that. It's just like, how can I create more boxes to check, let alone just check the boxes. I think that's what separates a great athlete and a good athlete.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to know. Like, why can't everyone go to the Olympia? Or can everyone go to the Olympia?
I mean, I believe everyone, in theory, could, as long as they have the genetic potential. I do think genetics play a small role.
But, like, where would you rate your genetics?
Like, I'd say like an 8.5. I think they're very good.
Like, do you mean like to build muscle? Do you mean structural? Like, what do you?
My body's very responsive to what I do.
But how do you know? Like, how do you know that it's just not your work ethic?
Yeah, I mean, it could be for sure, because to me, it's almost like a result based on the output.
Because you're also like intentional, right?
Yeah, I'm very intentional. So like what I do, like what I get out of it is from what I did.
Yeah.
So like, I
don't know if that's genetic. I don't know if that's genetic.
Yeah,
you know? Like that's what I'm saying. It's such a hard thing to measure and quantify.
Because I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. You could tell me, hey coach, I do XYZ to a T. Are you though? Like I don't know. You're right. Like I don't know what you're doing. Only God and you know what you're doing behind the scenes. So you can convince me, Tyler, I'm eating everything you're telling me to eat. I'm training as hard as I can possibly train. What does that look like though?
Yeah.
Like when you're doing stairs.
I can train and then I can train. They're two different. I know when I did a shitty session.
There's a big difference between you working out and you training. And there's a big difference between you coming in on off hours, you're really tired, you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to get some blood flow. And then you and I are training and we're fucking pushing each other. Like there's a big difference between the levels of training.
If I have one less hour of sleep, I can feel it in my workout. I'm not saying it's not the biggest deal to me at this point in my life.
It is to me.
But I can see how much of a difference it makes for me. You know,
it is
like,
to me, man.
For sure, because it's your career.
So
right?
like, it's just something as simple. I'll stay up late for the UFC fights. Dude, it fucks my whole day up.
You know, it's if you.
And I tell
it.
myself like, oh, you're gonna go to bed at 12 instead of 11, and then I wake up at 9 instead of 8. Dude, I feel it. My whole day's fucked.
But people will also say like, I'm doing all the boxes. I'm checking all the boxes that you've outlined, but those are ones that like that's micromanagement at some point, right? Like you have to be accountable to yourself for these things. And there are a lot of little boxes like that in your day.
And like, are you willing to sacrifice like being social with people? So having a fight night with friends, are you willing to say, hey guys, like I can't do this tonight, or hey guys, I got to cut out early because I have to go to sleep. I have to go to my bedtime. My bedtime's 10:30, lights out.
Yeah, can you?
I do that. So this past year, like people have commented on the size that I put on the last year. You did too when I saw you at Legends. I didn't do anything differently. Like it wasn't like, I mean, I did, but I didn't.
We did all the same things.
It was
just
all
better.
it was all the same things, but better. And
you
it was
still sleep. You still eat. You still.
But it was like I maximized my sleep. I maximized my food. I maximized my training. I really pushed it because I had to be real with myself. I'm like, these can all be better. And not only that, but then it was like, okay, well, now I'm going to sacrifice. I say that like in air quotes because it's like, I don't look at it like a sacrifice. It's more just like prioritizing. And for me, at this stage of my career, I'm 32. The biggest priority is being the best bodybuilder I can be in a very short window that I have. And that's another thing people don't realize is like, you know, people, oh, you should have some fun. It's like, I do have fun.
I enjoy this.
I have fun. Dude,
that's why I'm good at it.
I was telling you, I was in the gym at 4 a.m. this morning for no other reason other than I wanted to be there. I didn't sacrifice myself. I've been sleeping not very great, which is very unlike me, but I wanted to go to the gym. I had no reason to be there. I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting ready for a show. So I had no reason to be there at 4 a.m. other than I woke up, I'm up, I want to go. I want to use my time I want to spend my time at the gym.
You know, and it is really fun to get good at something.
It's a blast, dude. Like I have so much fun bodybuilding. It's funny because again, like I said, like people think like, oh, you don't have fun, and no, I'm having fun. Like I have, like I said, I have a short window to do what I do, and I have fun with the guys. When I'm at a show with the guys or I'm training my guys, I'm personal training with them, we're posing. That's fun for me, dude. I'd leave. It's funny because I have a very small social battery, especially at shows. They're very overstimulating and they're long days and whatever. And it's funny because we have those breaks, right? And we have those lulls in between, so for me, it'd be like while the women's categories are going on, I'm just like kind of sleeping, or I go do something else. I'm just like, oh my God, dude, I'm so tired. And then back with the guys, and I just get this burst of energy. And I leave there after a 14-hour day when I just spent it with the guys, as tired as I am, dude, I leave there so happy and so truly fulfilled.
And you meet your clients' families. Yeah. And it's like a good experience.
You meet their mom, you meet their dad, and they're so thankful for you.
But it's because you care, right? And that's why these things matter to you. I don't think every coach feels that way or gets that out of it because they don't have a natural care for people. Yeah. Right? And that's a big thing that you've always had, right? And that's what I think that why we didn't talk for 5 years, but we go to every show and then we look at each other backstage and we're both doing the same thing, caring the same amount about a different person. And that's what I mean. Like eventually you respect that regardless how you feel about someone. You're like, you know what? When you look around and they were here at 6 in the morning and it's 11 at night and everyone's gone and we see each other. And
King
you're
Kong, like, I remember I was there at 2 a.m. And there's like 10 people in the crowd other than just parents and stuff. And I'm pretty sure you were probably still there. Because that's when your client ends. Yeah. And I wanted to cut out, dude. I was 4 weeks out of the Olympia, my first Olympia. And I was moving in 2 days. My whole apartment was packed up. I had a guy and a girl. And the girls ended at like 1 a.m. or whatever it was. And I'm there with bags under my eyes. You're just waiting.
Going the extra mile, right? Yeah. And you always respect people that do.
But that was something that I learned from you, though. Because I did learn a lot from you. Like people may not realize that. Like I learned how to coach from you. Like so... I took a lot of good from you and I took a lot of things that I'm like, well, okay, I wouldn't do it this way, but I'll do it this way. That's invaluable though. Like whether it's like, people think like doing things the wrong way. It's like, well, that's how you learn. I've made a million mistakes and
you have to find yourself too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe certain things work for me that they're not going to work for you.
But you're at every show or you have coaches at every show. And I remember one time, this was, I don't remember what year, maybe like 17. And we cut out of a show one time after prejudging. And the guy got pissed off. And he's like, you guys left. You didn't even stay for final. And that stuck with me for 10 years, 8 years, whatever it was. Because I'm like, because in logically, you're like, the finals aren't judged, dude. And like, if you didn't win the show, what's the point, right? But the point is because that person invested in you as their coach.
How does it make them feel?
How does it make them feel? And they want to see their coach when they get off stage, no matter what time it is.
Placing,
So that was it. I'm like, dude, I drove to Montreal 3 weeks out of the Olympia. I drove home at 8 p.m. I got home at 2:30. I have all those clients now. And I was telling you, one of those clients was the one who referred that guy from Men's Physique because he was, and I only worked with him for 5 weeks into that show, but the
ripple effect of that butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
People don't realize that, like, it's not one client either. Like, if from a business perspective, it's not one client. Like, you're not, that's why, when you do lose a client, I know this, you're like this and I'm like this, it's a big deal.
Yeah. It's
like, I never, even to this day, it doesn't matter how much money I'll ever make. It doesn't matter how,
it feels personal.
How, like, I'm never like, I don't care. I lost a client. Like I never will feel that way, you know?
I feel like I failed myself almost.
I think if you feel that way, like, I just lost a client, you're done.
Yeah.
Because I don't care, I lost a client.
Yeah.
If you have that feeling, you're done.
Yeah.
Because it's not about the money, it's not about the client, it's about how you feel toward your work.
Like job performance.
Yes. Like,
I feel like I failed.
Yeah, doesn't matter to you. The result should matter to you, and how people feel about you should matter. How your clients feel about you should matter.
How they leave, are they happy? Like, so, you've probably had a lot of people who said, hey, Amer, I just don't want coaching anymore, but you're my guy. And then they come back 5 years later. And they come back 10 years later.
Of course. It's like a revolving door. Not everyone needs coaching all the time.
They don't want it,
or they don't want to do a show, they want family stuff.
Cost and whatever. But to me, that means the most when they come back years later and they're like, you're my coach.
Or they try other coaches and they come back. And that happens too, And I used to take that personally. Like I just told you about, one of my pros that came back. And, they worked with several other coaches and they said, like, it's just different,
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, your ego is very butthurt over it. Like you get really like, you almost don't want to take them back because you're like, oh, well, you went with another. But then at the same
your
time,
girlfriend went to another guy.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, you're like, maybe you needed to learn. Like maybe you needed to learn the hard way.
Yeah, and you need to appreciate what
yourself.
you like. I find that results in one of two things, in my experience. Like, I find that when that happens, they come back and they're really good.
Yep.
Because they're like, I really appreciate it, like, whatever. Or
you don't know until you know.
Or they're just not what they were before.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like they got tainted.
Yeah.
That's my experience. You know, it's like they could just never get to that level I had them before. Because also, like, I think a big thing when we were coaching people, it's not just me coaching the person today, right? Like, I built your tolerance up to this point.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go to someone else and then I have to undo that.
Yeah.
Or the person has set false expectations with them.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, yeah, you look really good when they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
So now it's like I have to undo that brainwashing of what that person did. And I've had this a few times where I'm like, you're not even close to me. Like, where did this come from? You never used to think this way. But you never used to think that way. Like now all of a sudden you think that you're lean enough.
Yeah.
But so I realized that people can condition falsely too, right?
Dude, it happened to me. It happened to me in my last pro season. I had a coach. I won't name names or anything, but I had a coach. I was his best guy. And so from his perspective, he's like, dude, you're amazing. Like he can only compare to what he knows, right? And so he's telling me I'm amazing. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm fucking sick. Like, and so I get in my head thinking, I'm really good. I'm way better than I am.
So you start to believe it.
I start to believe it. And so I start to create this like bravado and this persona of like, I'm better than I am. I go on stage, and I win, and then I win again. And then I'm like, oh, dude, I'm fucking awesome. And then you start to look back. And not only that, you go to the Olympia and then you're like, oh, I'm not awesome anymore. But then you start to look back and you're like, am I proud of that? Like from an objective lens, not subjective when you're in the moment winning, because the wins are fun. And I had 2 back-to-back shows. I won the first one with my coach, and I was extremely disappointed with how I looked. Like,
why?
Watery. It wasn't my best, but it was his best. There's a disconnect between what I have and what he has. That's why I coach myself now, because only I know the vision. And I do actually go back to what we did, because there was a conditioning standard that we had hit that I now have as a conditioning standard. So that's to my point. It's like, I had a standard then, you have a different standard, and your standard's not meeting my standard, right? And so then I go back into indie, I peaked myself, and I don't consider that anything because it's a week. It's you know,
you can't really take the
did
credit.
a couple things different. I pushed the cardio,
it's not enough time.
But it's a week. And the week changes looked like a year change. Like it really did. It was very drastic. But even then, people are like, oh, your indie look, was amazing, blah, 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 you're perfect. Bro, like, I'm still not on that level, man. Like I know
to the people watching it is.
They don't know.
I want to ask you this, like, so Mr. Olympia this year, right? Take any category, classic physique.
Yeah.
Like, would you, if he came to you right now and wanted you to coach him for the Olympia, would you coach him?
Who?
Mr. Olympia.
Would I?
Yeah. No.
And I'm competing?
Just in general right now. Would you take the number one bodybuilder in the world? Would you take him?
I don't know. I don't know, man, because like...
That's the right answer.
Yeah, where do you go from there?
Also, like...
What do you do?
Do you really believe that you're going to make him win? Like, I wouldn't take him. I would say, honestly, I would love to.
Yeah.
This would be really good for me if we win, but like, I have to be real with myself.
If you don't win, though...
Because I've never done it. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
And I think that some people don't... you have to really be real with yourself.
And I've never
level
been there.
You're at.
Yeah, I've never been at that level either.
Even as a coach, like, you got to be real with yourself. Like, have I even done it before?
What's that level
look
like?
How come I don't have people that... Because you've never done it.
Yeah. And like, it's a staircase, right? Like, you can only go up one level at a time, so to speak. You can jump stairs.
Earn those levels.
You don't know until you know, and you're not there until you're there. And you have to, like, I look at it, I always reference like a mountain. You can only get to the top by climbing. You can't just jump up. You can't jump up. You can't, most cases.
For that coach, he took you, but I've learned in life that if you get anything that you didn't earn or deserve, the fall from that is very hard. Because, and you have to have the, you have to have the gratitude, and you have to have the degree of being realistic with yourself and honest with yourself to say, like, I didn't deserve or earn this.
That's how I felt.
And I shouldn't do it because I'm not there.
That's how I felt. With
anything. And this is not just coaching people. That's anything. You know, that's why, like, if you have money you didn't earn, like, you're probably going to lose it.
That's what happened with me when I left Amer Fitness. There was all this hype because it was like, oh, Tyler's coaching by himself. At the time, it was just a little more affordable for people. And it was almost purely like because I left that I got this work instead of like I earned the work.
Yeah.
Like I didn't earn it based on my merit or based on my results. It was more like I earned it off your back, almost sort of thing. Because they saw me grow up through Amer Fitness. They saw me succeed as an athlete and a coach. But I didn't really earn my stripes necessarily. So that I only feel like I'm there now, dude. Like, it's crazy to think that because I've been doing this for 10 years.
I agree, and I respect you a lot for saying that, man.
Yeah. Like,
it takes a lot of courage, and I think it takes a lot of self-reflection to be able to say that. And I don't say it because I made you, like, I'm not saying it in that way.
Well, you did in a way, but like you did.
Like, I'm not trying to take the credit as what I'm saying.
Well,
you know, I don't want to say, you know, like, I'm not trying to do that by any means. I'm just saying, like, people don't realize how difficult something is, or like, and because this happened with other people in other ways, you know, and you're probably one of the only people that went up. Honestly, in my experience,
I've gone down. I've gone down. Like,
because you really wanted it, and you made yourself.
Yeah, I've had some lows for sure.
But you made yourself, right? Yeah. And now where you are today is a result of your doing.
At this point, I would say that. At this point,
you know, that's not like I don't know any of your clients. I don't know. And honestly, it's just a very different type of client. It's everything is you recreated based on you went through your own iteration of yourself.
Yeah, it was a lot of highs and lows, and the lows were where you start to learn who you are, and you start to say, like, well, who am I? What am I made of? And how do I get to the top? Like, how do I get there without relying on someone else, without relying on someone else's brand? You know, I can take all the good and bad from what I experienced and morph it into, like, myself. But I'll tell you, dude, like, I almost retired last year. I was working with a client. I won't say nothing, but I was working with a client. It was a female client. And it was just not a very good experience. And I remember just thinking, like, I don't think this is what I want to do anymore. And I was genuine. I was looking into other career paths.
I told you that before. You're like, buddy, you're lying.
Yeah. And I was
like, no, seriously, I don't want.
Yeah. And I was serious, but then it did actually open my eyes. Wait, this isn't what I want to do, coaching women, because I don't have that passion for it. Like I have the passion for coaching, and women were almost just a means of income. And I say that respectfully, obviously, because I have had a lot of female clients that I do care about, and I still do.
And you do care about them.
But
and you do care about them as people. That's the crazy
of course.
It's not.
That's why I coach them.
Yes.
But like, what am I best at? And so that was the turning point. In the latter half of the year, only just last year, I started saying,
well, if I'm going to fail, because you are going to fail that way, doing something for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
If I am going to fail or if I am going to quit, I may as well just give this a try.
Yeah.
Like I may as well just do it authentically. And you know what? If I lose people, I don't want to do this anymore anyways.
Why don't I just dial back?
Yeah.
So let's say I have 60 clients, right? 30. Why don't I just dump the 30 girls?
Yeah.
And they can get the coach that they're best fitted for. I'll dial back and focus on these 30 guys and just do my best work that I can possibly do. And one of two things happens. Either I fail and I lose income and I lose my job and I lose clients, or I succeed.
Or it works out.
Right.
And even, I'll take that even a step further. Like, I was like that, but not with like women. Like, I always enjoy coaching, but I was coaching the wrong people, right?
Yeah.
So like what happened was
attracting the wrong people.
I had the wrong clientele.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, like some of them were like, I have really good core athletes. And then I had people that I shouldn't. So how I explain this, I want to be, careful about how I say it. It's not about like, I thought I was too good for them. I did actually.
Yeah.
Like that was wrong.
Yeah.
But I did think I'm too good for them. But what I realized, it's not about being too good. It's like, I wasn't meeting the person with what their current needs were.
Yes.
And I was thinking like, so I was coming in with a hammer and smashing them.
Yeah.
And then they were like, man, I don't want to talk to this guy. Like, what's going on with this guy? And I was like, but I care.
And you're like, and you're like, why are you not meeting me up here
like
versus
I care.
you meeting them?
Like you say, like I'm whatever, but I care.
Yeah.
Like, no, I do care. I'm not mean.
I care a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I created within my business is, Lindsay works with me, and so she gets people to that level now.
Yeah.
Like we were coaching a girl at one point, and I was like putting this girl. I was just like smashing her down, and I said, Lindsay, I think you got to take over. Like, and the girl started progressing like crazy when she took over.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that spectrum, she gets them to a certain point, and I'm like, she's a gamer. I think they need you now.
Yeah.
Like she's like, she kind of maxes them out.
Yeah.
And like
the
girl that competed this past weekend was a result of that. The girl the weekend before, like they just, so you have to, it's not just about even the categories, it's figuring out that person's level. And sometimes you might not even be there.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't, and I explain this to my coaches. Like, it's not about me being too good, better than you guys because you coach a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's just that person needs something very different. And I want you guys to be able to progress people through this.
Well, do you just find like you're just not for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just, and to your point, you're not for everyone right now.
Yeah. That girl might be. And, and some of them do. They end up coming back like, oh, okay, I'm ready to work with you now.
Yeah.
And one thing that people say to me all the time is, I want to switch coaches. And I'm sure you get this all the time. And I'm like, why? They're like, I just don't think my current coach. I'm like, man, like when I look at your pictures and who you were at that time, I can guarantee you they were the right coach for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you came to me 2 years ago,
we wouldn't be a good fit.
I can assure you.
Because you changed. And I've changed.
What you're saying about that coach now is what you'd be saying about me 2 years ago. Like you wouldn't even need 2 years with me. You would say it after 1 week. You'd say this guy sucks. Because your needs weren't being met.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've learned to identify a person's status and like their current status of where they are.
How to meet them where they are.
Yes. And then give them what they need. And
that's like anything, any relationship, whether it's coaching or personal, it's like you kind of have to meet people where they are now instead of, now that's not to say you can't nudge them out of their comfort zone. Yes. Like that is the point of coaching too. You actually have to, the point is to meet them and then incrementally nudge them. But if you were to coach someone who's just starting out now, the same way you coached me, they're going to tell you get fucked in 1 week. They're like, dude, this is not.
Yeah. Like, what am I paying for?
What am I like? This is not what I signed up for. This is, I'm not okay with this.
It's all about levels.
And you have to almost respect the levels and respect a level 1 competitor where they're at. So like, that's kind of where I am too, is like, I still take on level 1s. Like, just the other day we had a guy do his first show and, I had to set the tone right away because he started with me 8 weeks out from another coach. I just said, hey man, like you're going to hurt, dude. Like this is going to be like, you're 8 weeks out and you're not where you should be. Like, And then you find out too, though, like, what are these people made of? Are you a good fit? Because I said, dude, either you're gonna kill this show,
or you're
gonna break, and you're never gonna want to do this ever again.
So when you worked with Chris Aceto, like that's who you went to after. Like, what do you think makes him good?
His eye.
That's it.
It was
at that level. He's not motivating anyone.
It was the exact same coaching style as you.
Yeah.
Like very short, to the point, spelling mistakes. But it was purely his eye. Yeah. I wouldn't give feedback. I wouldn't say I'm flat, I'm this. I wouldn't say my sleep sucks.
He doesn't want it either, probably.
No, and it was crazy because like the day that my sleep would start to suffer, that day or the next day, he'd be like, "You're on high days," and I didn't say anything. And to me, that was actually so valuable as a coach more than anything, more than an athlete, because I'm like, he's reading something that maybe I could be better at reading as a coach. So if my client does give me that feedback, like, hey man, I've been really suffering with my sleep. Everyone's flat, like, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to take the flat with a grain of salt. Everyone's flat and everyone wants to be, you should be flat. And I tell them that you should be flat. You shouldn't be getting crazy pumps at this point. But the way Chris guided me, and he would do like daily check-ins every other day. Like it was a lot, which was good too, which I tried with clients. I would not recommend it unless you're like very close to a show.
It's exhausting for people too.
It's exhausting for everyone involved, and you will exhaust yourself to the point where now 2 weeks in, everyone's getting a half-ass version of you. And I went through that and I paid the price. I tried this new approach. I thought, I care. I'm going to show them I care more. And
but it doesn't even matter for those people at that level.
No.
You know, it doesn't matter for a guy doing a regional level where the margin of winning is not that, it's not like a slim, you know, like that guy being at his fullest and 95% of the fullest is not going to make any difference. I think if he's that good to begin with, even at 50% of his fullness, he's probably going to win.
2 check-ins is enough.
Yeah,
if you know. So, but Chris Aceto was very good with his eye, his pacing. And again, like me as I'm taking all this in. He's not saying anything, and I'm like, what is he doing and why, right? So yeah, I thought that was I'll tell you now, like working with, there's no magic formula that you're not. He didn't even send me a training program.
Yeah, you don't know how to train, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
How old are you?
You know what I mean? Like he just sent me my diet and like my supplements and my cardio, like the very bare basics, and there was nothing about his protocols. Actually, for those of you watching, like his protocols were extremely conservative to the point where you're like, should I take more? Like, should I take more of this?
But I think that does something to you too, as an athlete, right?
Yeah.
That forces you now to put the responsibility back onto yourself.
Yeah.
And say, well, I don't look like his other guys.
Yeah.
I must not be pushing myself hard enough or something, right?
Yeah.
Rather than being like, just more and more and more.
Yeah, no, it was, you know what? And for me, you know how I am as a client, I'm like, I'm not going to deviate because if I deviate and something goes wrong, I can't be like, hey man, I deviated from the plan. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Like that doesn't even, I don't even conceptualize the idea of cheating on the plan. If you give me a plan, that's what I do.
I think that based on what, like my understanding and, you know, just of how coaching and the industry works is like the higher level the coach, the less support they're probably going to be giving. And the more lifestyle the client on this spectrum, the more support they're going to need, more than likely. Not obviously they're going to be outliers and whatnot, but for the most part, I think that's what it's going to look like.
Ironically,
back to you as an athlete, I think that when I look back at you as an athlete, what made you very good is you don't cheat ever. And I don't want to say you don't question things, and that's because it's not, you know, that doesn't make someone a bad athlete because they question things.
You should ask questions if you have them.
I always tell people this. What made Tyler very good when I worked with him, like you're one of the top 3 people I've ever coached in terms of like being a great athlete, right? So I always think about like what were those skills, what were those characteristics, right? And your ability to, as much as you know, you're not allowing that to cloud your execution every day. Yeah. Because you know, you have an eye for the sport and you might communicate. You didn't really communicate things to me like, hey, I'm overly this or I'm over, like you would just say like, hey, I feel this way.
but whatever.
Pay it like you can take it for what it is. I don't know. Like I just feel this today.
It got to a point where it was just purely feedback for you to understand what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at something and thinking, why is he like so watery?
Context. You just want to give me some. Okay, he's flat, third day in a row, but like I didn't sleep, therefore I don't need more food.
Yeah,
is pretty much what you're saying. Like in case you were thinking I need more food.
Yeah.
I just didn't sleep good today, or I didn't have enough water today, or I was sitting in my car all day, or whatever. Right?
Yeah, I think context is important for the visuals, and even as a coach, like for myself, I'm like, hey man, can you give me a little more feedback because I want to know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Because if you look watery, like, is it my programming or is it something you're doing behind the scenes?
Yeah, like how much Diet Pop did you drink yesterday?
Yeah, and that's something.
Now I'm worried it's a condition issue.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's always what made you a really good athlete. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think also it's important for everyone and a coach too, is to stay a student of the game. Like I say that all the time because like even you as a coach, you've been doing this for 15 years. Is there more you could learn? Do you coach different now than you did 5 years ago, than you did 10 years ago, than you did 15 years ago?
And your goal as a coach changes too.
Yeah.
Like what you value as a coach changes too, you know? Like I value very different things today than I did 5 years ago and 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, I didn't even know I was working with people. It was just purely like, get the win.
Yeah.
Like, get the win, you know? And as you work with people and as you have life experience and as you actually get to see how people look 5 years after they're competing and their relationship with food or things, you start to say, oh, like, I don't want to do that to someone else.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to have that impact on someone else. Or I don't want to take a girl that's 20 years old and put her on drugs, knowing that like when she's 28, she's trying to get pregnant. She can't.
Yeah.
Like it's just things I'm not willing to compromise on.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that a lot of people are, you know, maybe they don't have the awareness, as you said, or they don't have the experience. You know, when you can zoom out on a longer term horizon, you're like, oh shit, like this is for a win. I don't know if I'm willing to do that.
There's a rat race too, right? Like in every industry, there's a rat race.
Pressure,
so
right?
when you're a coach and we're in a small industry of coaches, especially in the CPA, we're all trying to like cut down each other in a way because you're like, I want my client to win and I don't want your client to win. And so like a lot of people, now this is the way that we were, but a lot of people are just not willing to be like, hey, I don't think you should do XYZ because in 5 years, there's going to have a lifelong impact. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people are like, if I can do this now and get a win and get a pro card, I'm going to get 10 clients out of it.
Business.
They're not really necessarily thinking about the person's long term, right?
And I think that, you know, a big thing too is I think most coaches by nature like helping people. And I think you get caught in that game of like trying to, you know, do what you need to do to
be
win.
The best coach. Again, it's just it's like a competitor trying to win the Olympia. You're a coach trying to win the Olympia or trying to be the guy in Canada. I want to be the best coach in Canada, which we all do. Like, I mean, that's still part of the game too, is like being the best coach that you can be. And I want to be the best coach. I said I want to be the best male coach. But I'm not necessarily willing to have such a negative influence on someone's life long term just to make that happen today. I'd rather take the long approach, the slow approach, and just really try to do really good work the best that I can. I'm gonna make mistakes. And so like you know, I had a guy do the Jim Morris, and he's one of my longtime clients. He looked awesome. He won. He got first place. But even then, I went back and said, hey, man, I think we could have peaked a little bit better. Here's what I would have done differently. I would have maybe dialed back the food going into the show rather than loaded you right into the show. He was a little watery, like a tiny bit. And I think being able to communicate that with your clients too is also what builds trust. Because if they say, hey, like I wasn't really super happy with the peak, and you're like, well, you know, you won, like, you know, that because that's all that matters. I think it builds a lot more trust and accountability.
I think these rules apply to everything in life. In every relationship, when you're dealing with people, it's being honest, being transparent. Like one thing I'm really priding myself on and holding myself to, because I always say this, like naturally I feel like I'm a bad guy trying to be good. Yeah. Honestly. And I'll be the first to say, like, I'm tempted to do bad all the time in every capacity. Like I go into a store, I'm like, well, what can I put in my pocket? You know, look, with everything, right? And I think that like you have to be real with yourself. We all have these temptations. And I think that's why religion and these things are great for people, because it gives us the framework and it gives us the accountability to something more than just our own daily actions, you know? Yeah. And I think that, you know, one thing that I really pride myself on is just being straightforward and honest, you know, and even if I did something wrong, I got to take ownership for that. Yeah. And I think that people just really respect that, and they want to see that when they're dealing with someone, regardless whether you made a mistake, whether you could have been like, because the opposite side of that is fighting your ego.
Yeah.
It's like fighting this like image, this identity you've
Humans
created.
aren't perfect, man.
Yeah.
And no coach is perfect. And if you're going to play the game that I am perfect, I'm 100% all the time, I might just say I'm like 98%.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a 98% success rate.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a margin of error.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing that I will say is if I make a mistake, I will learn from it.
Just own it.
You
You
know?
own it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that this is a big driver, you know, and I think, like, where do you think a lot of coaches, because, like, I feel like there's a level of coaching people get to, and a lot of people can't penetrate to that level. What do you think it is for you that helped you penetrate to this level now? Where you can coach people, and you can turn someone pro, and you can win these, take someone to the Olympia, and, you know, like, what was it for you that helped you, aside from, like, being so focused on a category and categories, working with men, like,
yeah, I think I always come back to accountability because it's the number one way of progressing. Like you can say like, okay, where did I go right and where did I go wrong? I'm a very self-reflective person too, like extremely, like maybe a little overly self-reflective and a little over self-analyzing, but I will literally go through blocks and periods of time where I'll stop after 4 months, for example. Let's say we have like blocks of seasons, right? So we have like a 4 month of season. Let's say August, September, October, November, right? That's like a heavy part of the season. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to put my head down and just work. Okay, but in November, December, how was my work? And like, are my clients staying? Did clients leave? Are clients happy? Are they unhappy? And one thing I remember back in Amer Fitness days was I said, hey, can we do performance reviews? Because I want to know from the client's perspective where I'm going wrong. And so then that way, like instead of getting offended by it or like, oh my God, this blah, blah, blah.
It's just feedback.
You learn.
Subjective.
Yeah, and
don't take it personal.
You don't know until you know from their perspective. So in order for me to get to that next level, I had to be real with myself and just say like, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And how can I be better? Not just for myself, but for my clients. And you know, that comes from delegating work and delegating like responsibility and just like, so for me, it came down to what am I best at? I don't want to waste your time as a client giving you a service from someone who isn't the best for you. You're just paying me money. Well, you could save that money or you could go pay someone who's better at this than me, like posing, for example.
And there's enough business in the world that you'll attract more people that
you
can service.
One thing you told me, this is 2014, you said, if you're passionate, the money will come. If you love what you do, the money will come. And so I felt like I hit this ceiling of like, I'm not making more money. I'm not getting more clients. It's just a revolving door of clients coming and going.
Same amount, yeah.
Right? And so
counting the money.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I remember going through periods where like just a bunch of the girls are dropping off. And I'm like, is this what I really want to do? Like, is this really where I'm taking away from the guys? Like I really am. Like I'm taking away from my guy clients.
So why do you think you couldn't let go of it? Like, well, I know this feeling. So why do you think you couldn't let go of it?
10 years, you do the same thing, right? And you're like...
Familiar.
It's kind of like an identity thing.
Familiar.
Like I was
Who am I without it?
Very familiar. And yeah, I just felt like maybe I'm losing a bit of my identity and losing...
Everything is comfort, man.
Yeah, it's like ego too, right? You're like, no, I'm the man.
Yeah. I can't lose. I don't fail.
Yeah. And it was like, you know what? I don't necessarily think of it as failing anymore. I look at it as like redirecting and focusing on the passion. So where am I most passionate? Classic and bodybuilding and men physique. I'm like, dude, this is what fills my cup. I felt like the other categories were taking away from my cup and it was taking away the energy that I could put into the other guys. And even just like on a simple level of like having to stay until 12 a.m.
I was just thinking that too. Like it's something simple and it's only one day of the year.
Right.
But it's like a punch to the face.
Dude, I get home at like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
That's a luxury, man. Like, you know, because if you're there for girls and guys, now you're probably there more for girls now.
But if you had to be there for 2 a.m. for the guys, I don't think you'd care.
No, I wouldn't. I would actually.
So that's the whole crazy thing. It's like, because you're there and you're doing something you don't feel that way about, it's like a times 10 effort. Yeah. It's a times 10 resentment.
I'm sitting through
you're like,
the other.
I already don't want to be here, and now I'm here late. Yeah. Like now I'm really mad.
Yeah. And I'm just not like, and as you're watching bikini and while you're like, you're engaged because you're like, you're comparing and you're like,
you're watching for fun.
You're watching and what are they looking
for your own life.
And you're studying and
even
it's
if you
fun
don't
to
know
study
the
and
person,
it's fun to get better. I didn't do that with the women's categories.
Yeah.
I slept through
like I could sit and call exactly based on who's judging. I know exactly what the call out's going to look like without even seeing the person. Like even I got there halfway, like in a category in a class, and I just said, okay, this first, second, third at the lineup.
Yeah,
I didn't even have to look at them do their back post just based on their walk.
I'll do that with men,
and
I don't do that with women. I didn't have that. I didn't have that level of like knowledge. Like obviously I did well, and because it's still a look and it's still
but there's just levels for everything.
There's just levels, and I felt like, why am I trying to compete at something that I'm not at the level for? And why don't I just separate that and get to the next level with the guys? Because like I said, it's all I'm keeping like in a ceiling, keeping myself in a ceiling. If I don't let go, like if you love something, you got to let it go or whatever, and you just have to let something go. So then that way you can put everything into what you love.
It's crazy that all these life lessons can be learned through anything though.
Yeah.
Through any endeavor, I feel, where you're pursuing mastery, where you're trying to be the best at something, you learn everything along the way. That's why, like, being a coach, being a real coach is not about, like, people don't get it. They think it's like a title. They think it's a status, a Instagram handle.
Yeah.
It is really a person you have to be.
Yeah.
When you really become a coach, like you have to go through that yourself, because it's a lot of self accountability. All the things you're asking your clients to do, you have to do to yourself all the time.
It's just like a pro bodybuilder. Like you have to become the pro before you're a pro. Like you have to live the pro lifestyle. You have to live and breathe it and become it. And it's not about the becoming with the IFBB Pro card. There's a lot
of... You and I, we never tried to get an easy pro card.
No, we never did those.
Like a lot of these people will say, like, I want to go here because I'm gonna do this pro qualifier, then that pro qualifier. What did we say to those people?
We only chose the one that gave the overall.
But if someone says, I want to do Vancouver Pro, and then I want to do this show, and I want to, like, you plan on losing the first one?
Yeah.
Like, let's put everything into this.
I remember we did Toronto Pro 2018, and people were like, are you gonna do Vancouver after? I'm like, no.
I plan on losing?
Yeah, I'm like, I came here to win, which we didn't get the overall, but I don't plan on doing anything else after. I've not planned anything.
I don't even plan to live the day after.
No.
Like nothing.
I know nothing other than just show up to the show.
Yeah.
Do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And you let the judges do their thing, and they'll place you where they do. But then you get out of there and you reevaluate based on how it went versus like, I'm going to plan to lose 4 times. And do all these pro qualifiers.
Yeah. You've already set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
You're
comfortable. You're comfortable with that.
Yeah. And that's a bad place to be when you start getting comfortable. Yeah. It's like what we said, losing a client, and you're comfortable losing a client. It's a bad place to be, because it means that I feel when you really put everything into something, you can't not care.
You have to feel something too after. Like when I lost Toronto, I felt what I felt. I felt like I lost, and it was not a good feeling. Now I don't want to go do that again in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so actually, to your point, so I did the Hurricane Pro. That was my first pro show, my pro debut. I got 4th, and there was a Toronto show 5 weeks later. And people were like, oh, you're going to go do Toronto? I'm like, no, I did this show. I lost, and I don't have that like vision of winning Toronto. I need that longer. And so for me, what I did was I made a post immediately after the show, and I said, I'm coming back undeniable for Toronto Pro 2022. And this was in November. The show was in June. From November to June, all I thought about was winning Toronto Pro. And then everything kind of led to it. And, I think when you are so intentional with what you want, and you move with the intention of making this happen, in almost all cases, it'll happen one way or another, whether it's today or tomorrow, as long as you're intentional with what you're doing, and everything that you do aligns with that intention.
Yeah, I think anybody could turn pro genetically. Yeah. Like most people don't have like that bad of a genetic where they're, like, there's a small percentage of people that probably can't structurally or from a muscle building standpoint. But for the most part, I think almost anybody can do it if they really wanted it and did everything.
Yeah, work ethic.
I think just by default, you can win a regional show just by having that DNA of really caring, because the majority of people probably don't.
Yeah, it's a pay to play.
So if
most people are just paying to play. It's no different. I always bring it back to like men's league hockey. You're paying to play. Yeah, like that's literally what a regional show is. Like, and that's also to put into perspective for people doing regional shows. Like, also in a way, like kind of relax, because it's an amateur competition. This is an amateur. You paid. My mom can go pay and stand next to you on stage.
Yeah,
right. It's like, yes, I understand we're in an industry of pro cards and social media, and I want to turn pro in my second show or my third show. It's like, you have to develop too.
Yeah.
Like you need that time. You need to respect the developmental phases. And that also comes with losing, unfortunately, but like you also have to develop into the mindset of a pro, and you have to develop into the lifestyle of a pro. And that's not, for most people, that's not going to happen in their first show.
Yeah. I remember I had a guy, he came in a pro show, second out of like 28 guys. And he's like, man, if I hit the front pose the way I wanted to hit it, I would have won. I was like, bro, if you hit the front pose the way you wanted to hit it, you would. I promise you would have come 28th. Yeah. Like, trust me, I didn't make that good play. For you to come second, but it wasn't good enough for you to win. You know, like it doesn't work that way.
Even then, you kind of like it's always like, oh, I could have won if you weren't winning. You weren't winning that show, dude. Yeah, you were not winning that show.
Sometimes I just have to tell an athlete, like, honestly, you're right. You could have been fuller, and you still would have lost.
Yeah,
like
you always be better, and still the guy who beat you was better.
They were just a lot better than you.
I tell that to a lot of my guys. There's nothing you could have done. Yeah, nothing
within this time frame.
Yeah,
you know,
you could have peaked 1,000% perfect as perfectly.
But then they might say to you, okay, so then they might say like, so then why didn't we wait till next year? Because you probably wouldn't get better unless you lost.
Yeah.
To be fair, like you wouldn't have that drive to improve unless we have like this tangible point, like a milestone where you did it. We have an objective point. We see how you look. Now we can get better.
So I do that with a lot of my guys. They're like, hey, should I do nationals? And I'll tell them straight up, you're not winning a pro card. It's very unlikely you're winning a pro card. But yes, I think you should do nationals. Not to lose.
Yeah, here's a realistic goal.
But you need to see yourself up there against these guys so that so I can see you with your physique and how I can peak you next to a pro.
And also so you understand, because every time, it's like what I said about building your tolerance.
Yeah.
Like every time you do a show, you get better at pushing yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So like
your body
how
adapts.
are we going to go from here to here without doing it?
Yeah.
You know? And guys, like there's 15 guys in that class. Like it's okay if you come third. Honestly, like I don't want to say like it's acceptable to lose, but like you know, like,
but is it necessarily a loss?
It's a step.
You know what I mean? Is it necessarily a loss? Because a lot of people, if you would, you
there's not a loss.
You could have gotten 15th of 15, but you pushed yourself as hard as you could, and you had the intention of winning. Two guys beat you that were better. And sometimes people are just better than you at that day. And you don't know how to get that good until you lose to guys better than you.
That's the point, right? I think one thing I've become really good at, like, filtering is just ego. Yeah. Like, and seeing, like, man, like, you don't need to be that way.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to serve you to be this way.
Relax.
You know?
I tell like a lot of guys, because they're like, I have pressure to win. I'm so stressed because of the pressure.
I can assure you nobody cares at all.
Pressure? What pressure?
Nobody cares, brother.
Like, no one's life is changing if you don't win your regional show. If you don't win the overall at your regional show, no one's life changes.
Your life doesn't even change.
Even your life doesn't change. It's like, yes, I really want you to win. And I really respect the drive and desire and the ambition. And I really do respect it. But what I don't respect is, appreciate is the stress that you're imposing not only on yourself, but also on your coach. Because now you're telling your coach, if I don't win, you're at fault. And it's like, dude, I can't control who shows up. I can only control your peak. And I can't even necessarily control how much muscle you have at this point or what your shape looks like at this point. Like you can, so an example is I had a show recent, like a couple weeks ago. My guy was arguably one of the best peaked guys in the whole show. He won his class. He didn't win the overall. The guy who won the overall was a better shape, a better structure, and just a little bit bigger. I told him that. I was like, he had bigger this, bigger that. And he was extremely like, yeah, I know, no problem. And we're going to do the pro qualifier. And I told him, you're probably not turning pro, but it's good to get up there. It's good to compete with these guys so you can see what we need to work on, but also we'll bring a better package. And that's all you can do sometimes. And then you go, take your loss. Okay, now get some feedback. Yeah. How do we get to that next level from here? But if you just keep taking time off, you don't really know.
We don't have pressure.
You don't, There's
also no, there's no reference point.
Yeah.
You're just floating.
Exactly.
And then you're floating until what, man?
Like, and then reference point.
And then really, you really only start pushing yourself when you need like a shorter term goal.
Yeah.
Like as much as you think you push yourself all the time, like it took you 13 years or 12 years to get to the point where you can push yourself 365 days.
Yeah.
Majority of people can't do that.
I would have burnt out.
Well, the majority of people can only do it at 8 weeks out.
I'm doing this for fun. I'm at, before the London show, I was at the gym in 3 or 4.
Most people can only do that at 8 weeks.
I took a rest day. Yeah,
right?
and I took a rest day, and I could have just been like, you know what? I have a show all day. I'll take the day off. And I was like, and it wasn't. And here's the thing, though, it wasn't like if I don't go in, I'm gonna get fat. I'm gonna like. It wasn't a stress thing. It was like an appreciation thing of like passion of what I do. And you're right, because you can only start to do that around 4 weeks out or 5 weeks out because you're in crunch time, right?
Yeah.
What if you just start doing that year round because you like doing it?
But that takes time.
And exactly, because I've built my tolerance 10 years, 15 years doing what I'm doing.
Like you didn't deadlift 600 pounds overnight.
Yeah.
You went to 400 and then 410. Like that's what it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, I'm there. Like, man, trust me. It's even if your structure, even if some people have the muscle, like you're not there.
It's a long game,
with everything else.
Long game is everything. And that's with relationships. That's with jobs, any sort of job. Like you want to get to the top, take it slow. Put one foot in front of the other. Instead of trying to take these huge leaps and bounds and jumps and
think about how many people we've known from 2014, 2015, 16 that came in like fireworks, like exploded.
They won their shows. They had all this
loud
hype.
and
remember that kid, Cody Montgomery?
I was
he's
looking at his
21 years
Instagram
old.
yesterday, actually.
21 years old, and he was the next big thing.
Everyone thought he's going to be the.
He had a kid, and had a family, and it all happened to him very young. Burnt out.
And a lot of people do that.
Yeah, well, dude. I mean, coaches too, like coaches, athletes, everyone. Since 2014, man, we've seen a lot of people just come and go, and that's why I am the way that I am. Like I just
because the
take
long
it
game.
slow. I'd rather if let's say I win the Olympia one day, I'd rather do it at 40 than burn out by 32,
and then hate fitness for the rest of your life,
which we see also. People start to become bitter and talk negative about bodybuilding, and it's like. Listen, there are some negatives of bodybuilding, of course, like anything, like any job you have negatives, no matter what it is that you do. But you can, I appreciate the long haul. I appreciate all the lessons along the way. And
it's more of a reflection of you, right? Like if all you're seeing is the bad in something, it's a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Like even when the day comes when I retire from this, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm retiring because no, like I learned everything I learned. I have the life I have because of it. Yeah. Now it's time to move on.
Yeah.
I don't like certain things about it.
Sure. But you would feel the same way in any job, though.
Yes.
I remind myself that all the time. I'm like, no job comes without stress. And our job is working with people.
Some people's job stress is that they have a 9-to-5 rigid schedule.
Yeah.
And they can't leave,
and
they have to ask for 2 weeks off, or that no, seriously,
for real, for real.
And people don't realize they're like, and then I find coaches that are very ungrateful. Like that they expect that like it's like I'll reply to you in 2-3 days, or
dude, this is such a luxury. It's dude, I feel so much gratitude that someone emails
I think
me.
Me and you came from nothing.
Yeah.
We came from nothing, and I think that's why we always have appreciation for this.
I have a team of men who like love me. They look at me like I'm like the guy who they want me to lead them. I'm like, dude, thank you. Like the fact that I've been able to work to this point, it's incredible that someone has emailed me saying, I want you to guide me, and I choose you. I'm going to pay you my money that I worked for. To help me
trust you.
Yeah, man.
But we've always had that gratitude.
Dude, there's nothing better.
And I think that a lot of people don't. And I think that I think more than anything, gratitude is what carries you very far in life, in anything. If you don't have it, you're done.
I'm grateful to wake up and have legs to go walk on the treadmill.
Just be alive.
I'm grateful that I have the means to go to a gym, let alone 2 gyms. I have 2 gym memberships. I can go do that. And I have the luxury of time. Like, as a coach, you have the luxury of time. And I just think, it's an individual characteristic of kind of looking for the good and the bad in things. And,
but don't you think out of everything, gratitude is the most important?
Gratitude is the number one. If you can wake up grateful for all that you have, you're walking in
as little as you might have compared to what you want.
I mean, is it? Yeah. Listen, there are days that I every day.
No, I mean like wherever I am right now is obviously not where I want to be.
Where you want to be. Yeah,
I want more.
Yeah,
and so as little as it might seem to me, like I still, as much as I want more, I'm still grateful for what I have.
Yeah,
like I'm not like, oh, this all sucks.
But there are days where you're like, you go on Instagram and you're like, this motherfucker has this and that, and I wish I had this and that. Yeah. But like, dude, when I met you, you were working at World Gym Scarborough. and then you lost your deal that you had with them, and then you're panicking because you're like, I just had this for so long. One thing leads to another. I believe everything happens for a reason. I'm a big proponent of signs and you know, the universe and all that, and so it led you to now having your own gym. And I look at this, I'm like, I wish I had it. You know what I mean? I'm like, every day I'm like, seriously, I see you posting with your coaches, and I'm like, because I've been trying to do that over the years. I've been trying to build a team of coaches, and it just never worked out. And I said, well, why is it not working out? And for me, I think I was forcing something, one of two things. I was forcing something that just wasn't there yet. And I was maybe forcing myself to do something that I wasn't there yet for. So then I said, okay, dial back. Instead of trying to create this team of coaches, create the team and be the coach.
Well, what happened was I always struggled. Honestly, I always struggled with having coaches. I always struggled with having coaches I liked. And I don't mean as people.
And trust. And,
I don't mean as people. I mean like where I looked at a team and thought, these people truly represent everything that I want. Right. And so I was led in different ways.
So that was why I left too, because we had different visions. And I'm like, I don't want to necessarily compromise on my vision, but it's not right to ask you to compromise on your vision.
I remember you said that too. Like I can't ask you to, you know, so, and it was about 2 years ago. And I said like, guys, like I'm changing everything. I don't care who I lose. Honestly, I'm okay. I had to make that decision because I was so unhappy 3 years ago. I was so unhappy. And I said, I can't come in here and look at my business and keep closing an eye to things and not say things because certain people generate money or because, and I said, would rather go back to zero because honestly, I might end up just killing myself
What prompted you to get there? Like, what was the deciding factor or the turning point where you're like, Amer, I'm not happy with what I have anymore? Because what you had was a successful business.
To the outside.
Regardless of...
Yeah, but it's not about that, right? It's about... It became so misaligned to why I truly started doing this, number one, right?
That was also...
Yeah, so it became so misaligned and you start, you know, comparing or competing with people, or you just like... The honest truth is me, I don't want to say you, me, I started acting in a way that was not conducive to being an honest person, right? And unknowingly, like it was unbeknownst to me. I wasn't super conscious of that.
You're in the rat race.
Right? Like I wasn't super like, I'm deceiving.
Fight or flight all the time.
Yeah,
you're just trying to survive each day.
And when you're doing things wrong, even in your personal life, you know, you do things wrong, you know, you get to a point where it's just, first of all, your business is your personal life. You know that, right? So you do things wrong in your personal, it shows up in your business and vice versa.
You got fed up.
Yes. And then you just get fed up because you realize that all the problems you have in your life are all your responsibility. That's when you become a man, I think, is when you realize
that's when you become a man.
Like, okay, like,
I'm the reason
clear
for
patterns here.
Yeah. I'm the common denominator.
I've done all this.
You can't blame other people, man.
And it's going to require a lot of effort. So when people say, like, honestly, how'd you lose weight? I'm like, honestly, I stopped becoming a liar.
Yeah. You're lying to yourself.
I was eating my feelings away.
Yeah,
like I was eating my, like, you know.
Pizza, Domino's, I remember.
You know? So like you
can convince other people that you're doing it. You can convince other people like I work out every day and I'm on everything and I'm the best and I work really hard and you can convince other people that you're the greatest ever, but again, only you and God know behind closed doors what you're doing, what you're putting in your mouth and how you're...
Someone asked me that recently, like, what did you change? I said, honestly, I just stopped lying. They're like, oh no, can you explain like how you lost weight? I'm like, honestly, you'll figure it out one day. like you'll figure it out one day. You know, when you really have to be honest and accountable for everything you do every day.
Only to you though.
Yeah, to you, not to anyone else. When it's to you, because when you're getting away with it, it's like,
that's the thing. You convinced everyone else that you were doing X, Y, Z, and I did the same thing. I would eat like an asshole for the whole off season and convince myself it's working. And I would tell you, bro, what I'm doing is working. I'm getting huge. What am I getting huge with though? Inflammation and water and fat. And then I would get shredded for the show and be like, see it worked. But it's
I tricked you. I tricked everyone.
So that's when I switched to Chris was around that time when I said, you are not living the life of an Olympian. You will never go to the Olympian. Now, that was my turning point. What is your goal? So for you, like, what was your goal? So what is your goal? Like from 2022, you said 3 years ago, or 2023, from where you were, because I know where you were. What was your goal?
I wanted to be just honest. I wanted to have a business where it was from a business perspective where it was really about going back to helping people, you know, and not about winning, and not about making money. Like I stopped doing sales calls. I stopped all this stuff. Like all the people I have now are incredible people. We don't talk about sales. Like we would post in a group before, okay, this month I'm in. It's like, guys, no one's allowed to share sales.
That's
anymore.
all it was back in the day.
I don't want anyone sharing a sale with anyone else. And it wasn't until a certain point, and then it got like that because
sales are important, obviously. Like you still want growth.
But I mean, then I have influence and pressure too, right? And these are justifications I'm making. I'm just
certain
saying,
dollar.
Yes, and and you have responsibility, and you start justifying, right? This is what happens. You're like, I have to do all these things, and I have employees, and I have these, and I think that, you know, you wake up one day and you're like, but I don't even like any of this. I don't even need a nice car. I don't even give a fuck about any of these things. Like I'm miserable, right? And so.
Because
like cost, I don't even like how I look. Like who cares what car you're in? Who cares what you know?
One thing I said when I saw you when Legends was it? No, it was King Kong. So you look good. You look healthy.
Yeah. I remember
because I saw you over the years, and I'm like, bro, even your hair. Like you just
my hair grew back.
Like you just, and I say this respectfully, obviously, because we're on the other side now, but you just let yourself go. And I think it wasn't necessarily like you stopped caring about yourself. I think it was because you were just so focused on winning that it wasn't about like happiness anymore.
And at the expense of things that I value
and people,
too, right? And what I value. Like, and so I felt that pressure to do it as well, you know? And I think that, you know, I went down the wrong path in terms of that, right? And I think that as I had time to recalibrate,
you need that,
and you lose people in your life too, right? You start losing people in your life. You're like, well, you know, I'm clearly not operating the way I should, and you take the responsibility.
Is it a bad thing to lose people though? Necessarily, like
no, because
I don't think everyone aligns with you, right? And I think people like for us, like I think we aligned in 2014, 2015, 2019, 2020. I think we were just going a different way. And you just grow apart in a way, and you're like, I just don't allow. And if we force it, now we're gonna keep butting it. And that's kind of what was happening, was creating friction. So it's not necessarily, I don't look at it as necessarily as a negative thing to lose people in your life. Obviously, you don't want to lose people, but I think it's also
healthy growth,
to grow apart from people that you just don't align with.
And if it's meant to be, it comes back too, right? Like that's what happens.
Yeah.
We can sit and have a conversation. We were not ready, and that's what people force it. We weren't ready to.
That was the thing. Like people are like, oh, like. Amer wants to reconcile. Like, can you go talk to Amer? And I'm like, it's not the time or place. And like, I'm not coming from a place.
Yeah, people would say that to me, like, oh, like you should talk to him. And I was like, man, like,
it's not genuine though.
Yeah, like,
and if there's still harvest feelings, like, let me just get through that.
Yeah.
Like, let me process. And so for me, like, you may have noticed I haven't posted anything on Instagram in a year and a half, and it's for no reason other than recalibrating. What do I even want to post? And why am I posting? Am I posting for me or am I posting for you?
It's funny you say that because when I started to get back in shape, and so it's been like 3 years now. Like 3-year process. And I said, I'm not going to post anything. Like I didn't post anything until this 6 months ago. I said, I'm going to do it only for me.
For you.
Because before I was doing it, it's like, oh, people are like, oh, you're getting leaner, you're this, you're that. Like
getting validated.
And I said, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to even say a word to anyone that I'm doing it. And for 2.5 years, I didn't say a word to anyone that I'm like diet. They're like, oh, you lost weight? I'm like, but like I was trying. But I just did not say a word. I said,
you get pressure too. And for me, it's the pressure of people like, bro, you look sick. And then you're like, fuck, man, like I got to keep this up.
Well, that's the thing. Because I was making the content and then I'm like trying to convince people the only reason I do it now is because I'm like, guys, this actually works. Doing it. I want you to do this.
There's nothing wrong
on the other side of that. But I didn't want to be going through it and like I'm struggling with my own thing.
Going through it,
And like being like, hey guys, like this is the right way to do it, you know?
That's the thing. Like for me, it's like, sometimes as a man too, you just have to go through things. Like you just have to go through it without other people being involved. And without them, even without them clapping for you. So for me, I've been bodybuilding and I remember when you and I first started, you're like, hey, I'm gonna coach you for really cheap. You gave me a really good deal, but you're like, just post. And that's kind of when I started posting and becoming this, like, I'm not a content guy, but starting with content and gaining following and sharing the journey. And for me, I wanted to just be like, well, who am I sharing this for? And what am I doing this for? So for me, am I going to continue being a better bodybuilder without claps and without people applauding for me?
That's the same thing with me. Like, can I get in shape without people saying good job? Like, can I even get in? Can I just have abs for me? Like, or is it just solely about making content about? That's exactly what happened to me. Yeah, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, okay. Starting to...
We'll leave it for another episode, too.
Yeah, because, dude, I there's so many other questions that I kind of want to get into about...
I want to get deeper into, like, fitness-related stuff, too.
And the coaching business side of things and how... Where you started with the coaching business and going from... Because there's phases, right? Like, your first phase was just Amer. Amer the Hammer. So who's Amer the Hammer and why? And then you started Hammer Fitness. And then you built and then you went through the Lady the F Up and the Man the F Up and the Level the F Up and all these things. And I want to get into where you made those mistakes, what you would do differently.
I would love to.
Why you did it. Because, because I want to be I want to have all these things, right? But then you don't do a lot of that anymore, right? Like the Man the F Up.
It's all pretty much one now, and it's like we have Lady the F Up and Hammer Fitness.
Yeah, exactly. Then we'll talk about kind of why you...
But, like, naturally what happened is everything is just coming together. Like, we have Lady the F Up and Hammer Fitness.
Figuring it out.
But it's because everyone is so aligned now.
Yeah.
And so, like, I realized that we're all just saying the same thing.
Maybe you're trying to force things.
You know, before I was creating a business because I'm like, oh, there's an opportunity. Not because it was about aligning the message. And now it's like, guys, the message has to be the same because it's authentic.
Yes.
Not because we're trying to just sell to people that are vulnerable or to people that will buy and then like just like blast them with things and then they end up signing up. Well, like, we don't want those people. We want people that come in here and want to be here, that respect the place, that want to do this on the long term. We don't want to sell people and then in 2 months they don't want to work with us. It's not about the business. It's about like we actually believe that like longevity, regardless, even as an athlete or a lifestyle, matters. Yeah. You know, and we don't want to compromise on that.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it's just like, I don't look at it as a mistake because you learn from it. And I think
to go through
but using those mistakes as lessons and even for me, something as trivial as like the JFP. Like, well, I don't think of it as a mistake, but I remember you telling me, I think it was you, and you're like, I think it was like it's too basic. Like it's just your name. It's too basic. It's not.
But it was. You need to go through that
at the time. Like you just kind of do it. You know, I just need.
But I'm on the outside saying, okay, that's not what it's going to end up. But like, and what I've recognized now is people have to go through those things.
I wouldn't have gotten here.
Yes, I know.
If it wasn't for that.
And that's what I've learned.
And I think I remember even saying like, this isn't my long-term plan. It's just something right now. And I remember waking up one day in the middle of the night. It was 2 a.m. It was in prep. It was the first time I had a shitty sleep. And it stuck out to me. I'm like, why am I sleeping shitty tonight? I turn over on my phone. I write in my notes, Ascension. I was like, that's what it is. And I started from that point on. And I even just rebranded into the black logo.
Looks good. Without the red, you mean?
Yeah. I just think it's...
I like it like
for the men.
Yeah.
And for what it's tough. It's stealth. It's like, it's not very like, it's stealthy. Exactly. It's not about like, hey guys, we're the best team. We're gonna get first place. We're going to do the work behind the scenes. We're going to be sleek, stealth, quiet, and respectful, and all that stuff. And
your brand naturally becomes you.
Yeah, you got to be lethal,
right? And your brand has to be you. Yeah, right, authentic, and that is you. Like you're not a loud guy. You're not a talker. Colorful, you're not like, hey, I'm fucking making all these videos about peptides and steroids and this and that, and then like, brother, but you're not showing up in shape.
Yeah,
like like that's great, but I would love to see you. Like so you are a person and a man that walks the walk, and I think that's
without like that's why we did no content, because I'm like, I want to do this for me and that's it, and then come back and be like, this is what I've done, not this is there's a big like there's a big difference between, hey guys, I have a big announcement coming up, this is what I'm doing, look at what I'm doing, instead of being like, I've done it. Same thing with you and getting in shape. Now all of a sudden you come out 3 years later, 6 months later, and they're like, whoa, what the fuck? How do you look like that? And it's like, it's done now.
It's real.
I've done it.
It was real.
Not, hey guys, I'm going to convince you I'm going to get in shape.
Yeah, guys, I'm getting there. Look at this lighting.
And then you quit, and then you stop because it wasn't for the right reasons, right?
Like sometimes I'm like, holy, shit, I didn't realize I got as lean as I did. Like at certain phases, like what? Like I didn't think I could do that again. Honestly, that's the crazy thing.
Well, that was me. This prep is I really just wanted to see what I can do, and bro, 4 weeks in, 5 weeks in, I could have probably stepped on stage. My glutes weren't in yet, but my glutes came in like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we'll throw pictures up too of different stuff on this video.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, I have some. We'll throw up some old photos, and I have some. I'm gonna post. I have my hernia surgery consultation this week. So for me, I'm like, once I get that, like, and they're like, this is the date of your surgery, that's when I'm going to post my first post.
Yeah.
I have some sick shots from Mateo, just like posing or whatever. And I'm just going to be like, yeah, I'm not competing this year because I'm going to get hernia surgery. I just don't want to post anything and be like, I'm getting hernia surgery. And then they'll be like, we're not doing surgery. I was like, fuck, I look like an idiot now. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man, dude, I appreciate this. And this is fun for me. So
yeah, me too.
I'll keep coming back. And if
you
want to do weekly, that's that.
I think bi-weeklies.
Bi-weekly.
Probably for you. Easier to coordinate.
Yeah.